All right, y'all, we back. I know, again, I know y'all like to hear about that the gladiator lifestyle that we used to live when I was younger. Most of this stuff I had forgot, and again, the more I talk to you guys and tell you guys about this stuff, the more it comes back, right? And so I'm gonna tell you guys about the first failed robbery until while in prison, right? Now, before I say that, I want to explain this. So, prison is a world inside of itself. At least when I left, it was, right? And it's almost flip of what it is out here. Meaning, out here in the world, we know that, say whatever we say, it is what it is. The white man has the advantage, just out in the world. I'm not saying I'm not on that shit. I'm just saying, I'm just speaking, what we know. The black man supposedly has the disadvantage. Now, when you go to prison, that is totally reversed, right? So most times the white boy is at a disadvantage. The white man, whatever. Most times we just call them the white boys, right? They are at a disadvantage because they are greatly outnumbered for one, and what you call it? They the minority, right? They're the minority in there, and they just get taken advantage of because they look like they can be taken advantage of. They just don't look gladiator ready, warrior ready. So, with that being said, when there is a white boy that is gladiator ready or a white boy that can hold it down, oh my goodness, man, it's like not only do you tip your hat to them, not only do you salute them, it's more than a badge of honor, right? It's more than, because it's something to be envied. You know what I mean? And I've known very few guys like that. Blaine Myers, shout out to Blaine Myers. Um, Matthew Garcia, these my guy, but Garcia is he a Mexican, you know what I mean? Shout out Matt. Um, they had a homeboy named Eric. I think Eric is passed away now. R.I.P. Eric. Um, but he was, I gotta, I think I'm gonna leave that alone a little bit. And you had, um, man, it was this white boy named J Dog. Yeah. J Dog, J Dog wanted to be played with either. All right. Um, and there was a couple of more. These are just the ones that were in my era that were, that we knew, right? Um, and I'm gonna forget some along the way, but I remember them also. And so I say that to say again, like I said, the white boys were looked at as soft and easy prey. So when you do find one or two, most of the time they by themselves. But when you do find some that actually not going for it, it could be a real problem, right? So, um, man, like I told y'all in the last ones, when I turn 17 and go to Alto, I go down to I go down to the 17-year-old door and find out it's, I don't want to say my people, but it's the juveniles that's, causing a lot of the ruckus on the campus, right? So again, being a 17-year-old kid, I fall right in. I mean, it was already making bad decisions, so it's kind of got a situation like, why stop now, right? So I remember, man, it's so crazy. When we coming through diagnostic, they had the juveniles. So again, you got a white uniform and a blue stripe down the side. Now the juveniles, the real juveniles, Matthew Garcia was in juvenile at this time. They had a brown stripe going down they side. Only ones on camp had that, right. That was to, to keep them different from everybody else. Plus they were in a unit which was like separate from the rest of the camp. But in a unit, that's where the diagnostic group come in also. And man, I remember, so me and my homeboy, Black Boy, we come through diagnostic at the same time. Black Boy, it was about 5 of us, man. Black Boy, Lil Boo. Lil Boo was from Macon. He was a Golden Gloves fighter. Excuse me. Lil Ruckus, I can't even remember Lil Ruckus' name, but he was from Atlanta. He was a soldier, rider, ready to roll. A lot of these guys came from Metro. Metro was a juvenile YDC, but it was wild too, right? But it was on the west side. The people on the east side went to Pantherville. The people on the west side went to Metro. So these boys come in from Metro, come to Alto. They rough and tough too, right? They handling their business. So one day, man, we get into it with the juveniles about something, and I tried, I just can't remember what it was. But the thing that surprised me was how uniform they were, and I mean, man, when I tell you, these little fuckers were like baby soldiers, man, and I mean, it's scary because none of them had facial hair, and they were all so small, especially compared to me. Then I had a low size. But we get into it and Black Boy was bigger than me. Man, we get into it with one, I can't even say it was Fat Boy that we get into it with. Fat Boy was from Augusta. And not only that, but all of these guys had time. All of these guys had like 20 years, 25 years, life sentence, double life sentence, maybe one of them might have had 10 or 15 years. I think like Matthew Garcia, I don't think he was, time stacked up like that. But these little son bitches was crazy, right? Man, I remember a little guy named Home Alone from Savannah, Fat Boy from Augusta, Pool. I remember Pool. And me and Pool was supposed to be cool, and we end up having to get into it in G1, which was ITP, like a boot camp, when Mills sent some guys to jump on me. We'll talk about that one later, right? But these guys were they were in juvenile, and they were ready, man. We got into it in the chow hall about something, and man, I just remember that we were looking. We had already discussed, that we probably something was gonna go down. We had to have a fight or something. So we were looking. When we went to breakfast, they would allow us to eat together, not together, but in the same chow hall. Man, we were just looking, just kind of, we were talking and just kind of looking a little bit. And man, Fat Boy kind of like, he was eating and he looked up from his tray and he saw us looking at him. Man, he just slammed, boom, jumped up right then, bent down, started tying up his shoes. And I swear to God, man, when he did that, it was like all of them done the same thing. At least 7 of these little bastards jumped up on the exact same shit. Nobody had no knives or nothing, but they were already aimed at us and coming at us and ready to see what was going on. I mean, they were ready to get busy, man. And I'm gonna be honest. This scared me and amazed me at the same time, right? The officer called 1010, some kind of way. Luckily, we don't get into it right there. It just like we just never engaged. But again, I truly know. I mean, I know that they were more than ready, and they were ready to go, man. These little fuckers is bad, right? So that was my first encounter with the juveniles in Alto. All right, so after I leave diagnostic, I go down to the 17-year-olds, and again, I told y'all it was wild as hell down there. They moved me into the palace. but I spent all my time in the dungeon because that's where it go down at. The white boys had the trailer park in the back, and they ain't have no problem with it, but and again, I like to share this stuff to let you guys know how twisted and perverted these places are. These ain't the places you want to end up. So we know what they do down there. Basically, they got money. They family sending them money in. They doing tattoos. Um, they got money. They doing tattoos. They drinking coffee. They basically, I don't want to say living good. They just kind of kick back and they stay to themselves, to themselves. And this is not it wasn't a race thing back there. It was just how it went, right? And it's probably still that way now. So of course, when it's time to do something wrong, like all we did was gamble, shoot dice, man. We used to make dice out of tissue. That's a whole nother story. We shoot dice. They play cards, but gambling was a big part of it because we used to try to, basically get money to feed everybody, even the people who don't got no money. I mean, the people who couldn't eat or whatever. You try to get some money or whatever. So, I remember like it would be days where Lil B might strike the dice game, hit for $30, $40, or maybe $20. It looked like $50 because it's all soups and noodles and chips and sodas, right? Bro might hit when I say bro, I'm talking about Sean, you know what I mean? Ace. He might hit the dice game. He was good at it, right? But sometimes they might blow too. They might blow that motherfucker and lose all the money, right? So it was live, and to be honest, this was more action than I was seeing on the street. We were having more street action in the prison than I was really seeing on the street. The move would be, we put together a plan. I wasn't part of I ain't put together, but I was with it, you know what I mean? The move was to, so when you go to prison, they give you a locker box and a lock, the regular master lock with the turn combination to open it. Everybody's issued one, and you're supposed to keep your stuff locked, right? Oh man, see, again, brought up another memory. One of the things that we used to do that I don't even hear about now was pick the lock. And man, we had people that were basically, you had people walking around with these little master locks all day, just going back and forth with them, and then you'll hear it clap, right? Going back and forth, clap. We sit around and argue about who could get a lock open faster. Then they run go get 2 fresh locks, put them all on 0, and let the guys race. Next thing you know, I'm talking about literally anywhere from 3 to 5 seconds. Clap, and the lock is open. One day I'm gonna try to do that for y'all, for just to show y'all what I'm talking about, right? That was like a real skill, so that when it was time to handle some business, you'll tell the lock man, like, bro, we need you today. You know what I mean? We'll cut you in on lit, right? Go down there, when you hit your lit, lock man get on that thing, pop. You in the box and you take all the food, right? So I think it had come about because someone had already decided to go down and take something from the white boys when we were at Chow. So, and the way that is I can't remember if they were counting or not, but I don't think they would count, or maybe they would count, but everybody is supposed to go to Chow, eat, and then come back. Even if you're not going to eat, nobody's supposed to be just left in the dorm. Maybe sometime you can if there's an officer in the dorm, right? So somebody stole something from the white boys, and it was a fight about it, right? As a matter of fact, I'm gonna reverse a little bit and take y'all to the very first day that I come down. So my first day in the 17-year-old dorm, they were telling me about the day that like the day right before I got there, it had went down in a major way in the extended juvenile dorm, meaning so they had this guy named Mighty Joe, big fella, right? And he was a cool dude. He could fight, you know what I mean? Could fight real good, but he was from the country, and that was a big thing during time too. It was Atlanta against the country, and when I say the country, is you know anything not Atlanta, Savannah, Macon, Augusta, Columbus, anything south, LaGrange, all those South Georgia areas, we call that the country, right? And we tried to treat them like they were slower than us, and at the same time, the country boys used to look at us like we were city slickers and always trying to run game or get over some kind of way. And honestly, that's how it was, right? I mean, hell, that's how it was. So I remember the day before I come, they were telling me about bruh had some. When I first got there, we had we had cassette players, tapes, right? That's what were still in prison. People used to get tapes sent in. It was as simple as we couldn't have. It got to the point where we couldn't have cassette tapes that had parental advisory on them. So you would get somebody to open the cassette tape, take a black marker, mark over the parental advisory, close it back up, seal it back up, and send the tape in. And then you would have, say, like the dirty version to an album. We were listening to stuff like Playa Fly and the No Limit stuff and stuff like that, right? So the cassette tapes were still in when I went to prison, and while I was in prison, they transitioned from cassette tapes to the little CD players, right? And they were the cheapest ones, the ones that's probably like $11 in the store, and they selling them to us for like 120, whatever. But everybody's buying them, right? I hear a lot of the guys right now talk about the CL20s. Joe Baker talk about them. I think I've heard Bill Feasy talk about them. When we were doing time, the CL20s were actually the cheaper ones. We had R10s. R10s are the same ones like CL20s, but they were solid black and they were actually more durable. So when you used to get your headphones, you could get the R10s. We used to call them dubs, or you can get the CL20s. They pretty much had the same like base, but they were made of cheaper material, so they would break faster, right? So everybody, all of us had R10s. If you saw somebody with some CL20s, they were like some cheap, but they were good headphones, right? And now, even as it evolved, they took the R10s off for some reason because the CL20s were clear. So those were the only choice. I hear some of the guys talk about the CL20s now, right? So, man, they say bruh had the cassette tapes, the cassette players, the Sonys, they use the AA batteries, and it was, we used to call those gas. So when you buy batteries from the store, you buying gas for your car. Your cassette player was your car. So if someone asks you to use your cassette player, they might pull up on you like, bro, let me borrow the whip for a minute. Let me bend a corner. That's asking, can I, listen to a couple of songs on your radio? And you ask them, do you got your own gas money? Yeah, I got my own gas money. That means I bought some batteries from the store. Even people who didn't, like cheap people, if they didn't want to spend money on a radio, they would just buy batteries and go and ask their partner, hey, bro, I got my own batteries. Can I listen to your radio? Right? A situation like this where, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Tony Weekly, but it might not have been. Ace had let someone use his radio, but he took his own batteries out, or he left his batteries in. It was one of the situations, and when the radio came back, either the batteries weren't the same, or it was something about the batteries, right? So you got to think, I mean, even out here in the free world, we're talking about maybe maybe $2. Excuse me. So in the prison, maybe $3, right? Man, I think bruh had asked Tony, like, bruh, where my batteries at? And Tony was like, what I gave you, I gave you back what you gave me. You had the batteries in or whatever. So there was some kind of misunderstanding. And I think, and bruh just like exploded. He went over into the other room and just exploded, man. He slapped one dude. They were playing cards or doing what they doing. He slapped one dude off the table or off the chair where he was playing cards at. Bow! Punched another dude. Boom! Knocked him out, right? Told him in the room, made an announcement like, man, I want my fucking batteries. Get them now. Else I'm whooping everybody in here when we come back. And somebody came back and brought the batteries. And I think it may have even been a mistake to the point where maybe the batteries had just been misplaced, and then they showed up after he got angry. But that led to Mighty Joe. When you make a statement like that in prison, most times somebody gonna accept the challenge, because you can't just call the whole room out like, hey, all y'all fuck niggas in here doing this or that. You can't do that, because I'm in here with everybody, right? So Mighty Joe ended up, saying something about it, and man, the guys didn't jump on him, but Mighty Joe ended up having to fight like damn near my whole crew. He fought Teddy, he fought Ace, he fought Jalen. I know had I been there one day earlier, then we would have fought also. He fought TJ. I think he might even fought Lil B, right? And they might have even jumped on him too, right? But Mighty Joe stood his own in there. And I think it might have been word that he beat everybody except maybe Ace, right? And Ace was the only one could get him. So I'm just giving you guys these kind of stories because, I just want to kind of set the scene on how it is. It's like prison is dominated by violence, right? The way you are out here is not, you can't be like that in there. It's ran by violence. Who's the meanest? Who's the most ruthless, right? This is how things are ran and is categorized. And out here, you have to be able to, you got to be able to cut that off, because the same thing is not acceptable out here in this world, right? So again, with the problem with Juvenile, seeing how on go they were, then I get down in 17, and so it's just so I'm learning very quickly that any little altercation, anything small, there has to be an immediate answer, and there has to be violence, right? And it has to be swift. So like, this is how I understand it now, and I have time to do so. This is how I accept it, right? So we going through all this and all that, and I don't know whose bright idea it was. Again, I know I ain't have the leadership to deny the stupid ass idea. And keep in mind, I've already been convicted of robbery. I have co-defendants that, I think they were going to testify against me. So, so that I wouldn't walk free or whatever. And I'm still doing stuff with other people. I shouldn't be doing stuff at all, but I'm not only am I doing stuff, but I'm doing it with other people, other co-defendants, right? So we decided we're gonna take something from the white boys one day, and man, we didn't even try to steal it, as because that wasn't, and Sean wasn't part of this because he wasn't with it. Ace wasn't with it. But most people that I'm thinking of in the story, we were with the situation. Or I know it wasn't me by myself. I think I just had one or two knuckleheads with me, right? So man, we go down to the trailer park where they at, and it's right after dinner time. And I remember walking in the room, 2 or 3 guys walking in behind me, and I'm thinking I'm bad. I done had I didn't had a couple of fights, but I see how things are ran in here. And not only that, but I'm also looking for a chance to prove myself, right? So I walk in, I tell them, I can look at, when you walk in the room, it's bunk beds, and each bunk beds have the lockers. So you can look at the lockers, and you can pretty much tell the ones that are open and empty, the ones that are empty, because they'll either be open or cracked open. And then the ones that are full, which belong to the white boys, they closed. They either have the lock on them or they are locked. Like saying they either have the lock, it's in the hole but not locked, or they are locked all the way, right? So we know that these are the boxes that the money in. When I go in, man, Shane is laying on the bed next to a locked box. The white boys doing what they doing tattoos, minding their business. It was a whole new world. You might have a guy sitting at the door, just watching the officer booth, making sure the officer don't come down. When the officer come down, he might, do a little code or something, and which tell the white boys to put the tattoo guns up and all this. I got 2 tattoos on my chest. I'll show y'all that. But I got those in down in the dorm. And I don't know if I said it, but I got one of the first Matt Bromolo tattoos, right here. So we go down there. I tell the white boy, I tell him, man, open that box. Shane is about, back then, we talking about at 17 years old, Shane probably was about 6'2", 6'3" then. He was thin as a rail, which in my mind said he probably wasn't that strong. But I don't know what it is, man. If you ever dealt with one of those real skinny people, them motherfuckers strong. They got like bony strength. It's weird, right? So Shane laying on the bed, and he points to the box, and he like, this box? No, not this box. Which I kind of even though I wasn't singling nobody out, but when he said that, it brought my attention to him. So now I'm talking to him and that box. So it's like, yeah, that box. We want that box. He like, nah, ain't nothing coming out that box. So when he say that, I pull my gloves out my back pocket and I tell him, let's hit the bathroom. Let's roll. I'm put my gloves on. Now, this is supposed to be a scare tactic, because the white boy is supposed to be like, man, I don't want to fight, man. But these, again, we had Shane, Matthew Bromolo, Eric. These ain't the regular white boys, right? And they had a little white boy named Little Mike. That little son bitch was crazy too. And so this is supposed to be a scare tactic to make him be like, all right, man, we don't want no problems, man, and leave us alone. Man, Shane locked the box, boom, get up off the bed and follow me into the bathroom. So I'm like, damn, because this wasn't, how the plan went in my head. I'm trying to show how bad I am, trying to get some money, but now I got to fight. And I can fight, but, I can't fight, right? So, man, again, I had to be no more than about 5'8", 5'10", and I had been working out. So, when you're working out, you also got to coordinate and get the muscle. Because if you just work out and not work on using the muscles, like extending them with punches and stuff, then you just be swole and can't do nothing, right? So, man, Shane get in there, and I don't want to go through the whole fight, but man, he tear my ass up because he's tall. He's like 6'2", and he's very long with them bony arms. Man, every time I try to get in to do anything, he's snatching at my forehead, man, and my shit is swelling up as we fighting. And not only can I not get in, but it's aggravating me because I'm feeling the hits and can't do nothing about it. I can't even get a punch in. He's so long that he could just move around and just pop, 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 right on my forehead, right? I can't do nothing with Shane, man. And all my guys watching, guys that I came in here with to rob these boys, and they watching me get my ass fried, right? So once the guys see me get beat bad enough, they step in like, all right, bro, that's it. It's over with, bro. Law. I'm feeling bad as hell, right? So Black Boy say it's his turn. He want to go, right? So Black Boy go in right behind me. They square up. I think Shane had maybe he was a little bit more scared of Black Boy than he was of me. But off the rip, man, soon as, Black Boy come from Metro and he was knocking shit out down there. Man, as soon as they say, soon as they set up and get ready to go, Black Boy, he just, he throwing punches and you can hear him. He almost like some bitch like the Hulk. And he just like kind of just drill Shane all the way, just run him back into the wall. And Shane basically had no chance, right? But I think it was more of a fear thing. Black Boy was big and scary looking. So it was flawless victory. I'm talking about totally, he obliterates Shane, right? Which also makes me got me feeling bad, because now the same excuse that I just used, I can't use no more. You know what I mean? He bigger than me and taller than me or whatever. Because he was taller than Black Boy. Man. So now Brumelo was about 6'2", 6'3", but he got some size on him. And it may not have been, like I said, now that we're grown, I see that it may not have really been like that, but we were small back then. So Brumelo was big, damn near like grown man size. Brumelo said, he done what he's supposed to do. Shane had just lost, so he stepped up next. I can't remember if someone called him out or he just stepped up next like he was supposed to do. Man, him and Black Boy square up, they line up, and they get to going. You know what I mean? And I don't know why Black Boy didn't use the same strategy that he used with Shane, which would just be to charge and throw the hard punches. He tried to pick Brumelo up, and Brumelo was huge. So like Black Boy went up under him and grabbed him and trying to pick him up and can't do it. Brumelo got him, right? Brumelo got him and wrestling him. And, you can tell and see that, Brumelo wasn't, he doing what he's supposed to do, but he wasn't, just wasn't a fighter, right? But he ain't going that bad. Man, he get the hammering on Black Boy back. Boom, punch him in the side. Boom. I mean, while Black Boy still under his mix session, right? He hit him about 4 times. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm watching, and I can see Black Boy not being able to get him up. And we all in the bathroom just watching, and I don't know what came over me, man. I just swung on Brumelo. Bop. And when I run, I think I kind of jumped and swung and hit him. Boom. And it broke that up. But when I do that, somebody hit me, some more guys jumped in, and everybody, man, we in this bathroom. It's about the size of a normal living room. And we are just going at it, man. The dungeon against the trailer park. I'm talking about everybody grabbing everybody. We just whooping ass. And I'm going to be honest, it was just fun. It was fun, man. We fighting. This is the most excitement that we done seen. And it happened so fast. It might have been over in 60 seconds, right? 60 seconds. We run up out of there. We run up out of the trailer park, run back into the dungeon. I remember us turning on the shower in the dungeon, and like 3 of us had to get in there because we had blood on us. So we take off all the bloody clothes, but we keep on our underwear, and we in the shower, washing and trying to wash blood off us, right? Because we know that the officer's gonna come soon, and anybody they see with blood on them or this or that, they go to the hole off the rip. Some kind of way, the officers never come, right? And that was my first time, trying to rob some in prison and getting handed my ass. And believe it or not, like I said, it was just so fun. Nobody became enemies behind it, right? It wasn't no grudges. If I'm not mistaken, we probably even became closer because I got both of these tattoos from Bromelo and Eric after that, right? So in some kind of way, that was kind of cool. But it was just a situation where everybody knew where everybody stand, right? The white boys rhyme with the white boys. They ate with the white boys. We was with us, the niggas, you might as well say. We rolled with us and we did our thing, how we did our thing. That's just how it, even from a young age, that's how it was sectioned off. And that's how we wanted it and we had it, right? And I can remember that what happened was some kind of way, the word got back up to the juveniles that we had jumped on them, that we had jumped on, like, those boys and Matthew Garcia, who was up in juvenile. I think he was either friends with or on the case with like Bromelo and one or two more guys that we were jumping on. So it came to us that Matthew hated us. And he was getting ready to come across the yard soon. He was going to have to come to 17. So there was already a small grudge. Not only that, but, Matthew was tight with Blaine, right? So with Matthew hating us and Matthew being cool with Blaine, we would see Blaine and even at time, even though we had squashed the stuff inside of the dorms, when we would see Blaine in passing, he would always have a smile on his face, but it would look like a cricket smile. And even if we dap up and say what's up, it was just something real untrustworthy, like, because, he had the reputation of not going out bad. That's what that is. He wasn't going. And that also meant, to fuck with somebody's kind, that's you got to see about that. Or that's the same as going out bad, right? So, yeah, man, I just wanted to share that story with y'all. 'Cause I know y'all like to hear some of that bullshit with some of the good stuff. So I just want to share that with y'all, man. I hope y'all like the story. I got some more coming for y'all, man. But nobody went to jail, meaning nobody went to the hole. I didn't get to rob them. I got my ass whooped, and I remember sitting on the bed, feeling bad as hell, head hurt, beat up. Not only that, because I done lost the first fight. I'm supposed to be a badass, and I done lost the fight, and these the guys I gotta live with. So running from this shit, it really hurt kind of bad. And I remember bro came and sat on the bed next to me, man, Ace, and he was like, man, he like, you wondering why we ain't jump in, right? And the crazy thing was, I'm wondering why, like, how in the hell I get whooped in front of a room full of my guys? Because when Black Boy was losing, I jumped in. And bro told me, he was like, bro, that ain't how we roll down here. He was like, you gonna have to learn how to hold your own, because niggas ain't gonna be jumping in and they ain't gonna be there. So you gonna have to, down here we do ones. When you call for a one, you get a one. And that's how it go. You know what I mean? And that was real talk. Because if I didn't learn how to stand on my own, who knows what would have happened, right? I'm gonna catch y'all on.
I had some niggas I look up to try to put their feet on my neck, man. You know what I'm saying? And we supposed to been working together.
Go crazy, AG.
You know what I'm saying? How you hate on my come up? You know what I'm saying? Box me out. Can't box a real now, nigga. This shit gon' still happen. I always been a underdog. My pockets on mainstream. I never made one call. I bless you for trying me. Mine really fucked up. Time made me paranoid. Walking out the hospital, eyes full of tears of joy. Ruby tatted on my arm. Really wanna hear your voice. They say my uncle doing good. Finally got up off that boy. I be trapping, selling weight. Ain't no stress on my face. Definitely